this in your eye. Eye drop.
You said that's what it is, actually?
That's my guess.
That's what he gets.
Oh, does it have this?
Like, look at the back picture of it. Like the logo on the side looks kind of like eye drop.
You guys are too smart.
At first, I was
Okay, so
like
then you
cough
got it.
syrup far away.
It smells good.
It's a sanitizer, but yeah, that thing shouldn't have any smell.
Oh, does it? Oh.
So I'll tell you what it. You can open it if you want. Yeah, I just just the lid, and then you open it the other way.
Chug it.
Yeah.
Get some squeeze it in one end.
So if someone today got COVID, and we know we will. Sorry, it's a bad joke, but. Okay, so guess what this is for. Take a look and see. This is also I found very fascinating about the cultural difference.
Soap,
For what?
hand soap.
So like what he said, we put this in here, and then you put it on your eyes and then rinse your eyes. So this is for allergy. If we have really bad allergy, or if I feel like there's something in my eyes, I will use this and then rinse my eyes and then see. I like to see like what's in there. Sometimes I will see a lot of eyelashes and stuff. So and then they also like they say they put like vitamin B6 and vitamin E to protect your eyes. Yeah, so this is what I got from Japan. And we don't really understand what it is, but like you mentioned, like we see this and we're like, okay, that's what we're going to try. So this goes back to one of the cultural difference that I want to mention is I noticed. I don't know if you guys noticed, like I don't like to take medicine. If I don't have to take, I will wait till the last moment to take medicine, any kind of medicine, same as the allergy medicine. So that's why we have those kind of stuff, like people will not take allergy medicine, even though here, the doctor said you have to take it every day, right? I don't know how many of you have allergy, but do you take medicine every day?
No, it's like seasonal. So
Okay.
everything's around springtime.
Okay, but do you take in spring, like every day during spring?
Yeah.
Okay, so I had very bad allergy for years, and like after a few years, I was in US, so like I remember the time where I like sneeze or blow my nose so much that I bleed. I have bleeding at night, so I have to sit and sleep because otherwise it's blocking my breathing, and then it's very uncomfortable. So I started to take allergy medicine, and then like at first one medicine works, and then after like 1 or 2 years it wouldn't work, so I have to switch. Until I switched to the most recent one is the Zyrtec, the gel one. That's very strong. Like after I took it, it will last me for 1 day. But then then suddenly it only lasts me for a few hours, and then started to so we know like the medicine are not work, so we try not to take medicine. So that's why, and then I found out, oh, this one really works, so I wouldn't take medicine. And now I use different, like I took some vitamins, some supplements instead of medicine. And I still have some allergy, but not as bad as before. So I don't take any allergy medicine anymore. And then when we went to a dentist, I remember in Taiwan when we had a root canal, the doctor, like they usually put the thing in your teeth, right? And then we don't have any anesthesia. We didn't have any anesthesia. So the doctor said, it will hurt and that means I got your nerve. So that's what we did. And then here, it's like they numb your skin in order to give you a shot. And then after shot, like you don't feel anything. Yeah, I was like, oh, that's so weird. Like I never had root canal like that. And I don't even know if it's done right because I don't feel they take out my nerve, you know, but like what we actually feel it and then the doctor said, oh, that's right. That's, you know, means I got a nerve. So that's different. Yeah, it's very different. And even for the what is that? The nose, the colon, for colon, the colonoscopy. Yeah. In Taiwan, my mom told me, my mom said they could choose to have anesthesia or no. And people choose usually no. They don't want to be put to sleep. Yeah. So I say, really? It's just different, right? It's very different. Yeah. So it's something I want to share. And now, so this one is the dark egg. This is the stinky egg. So I don't know if any of you will try. I'll let you. I don't know if you can smell it. I'll let you smell it a little bit before and you can crack it too if you want. Crack it and then. When I was little, I hated it.
What kind of egg is it?
It's a duck egg, but they kind of like, I don't know how, like sort of like pickle egg. So they kind of pickle it.
Does it smell bad?
Did you try? You didn't even open it yet.
Smell it. Smell it. Smells bad.
I don't know why.
Crack it. They closed straws because there was an empty suitcase, and that's all it's about.
Oh no.
Yes. I don't know if you guys remember a few weeks ago.
Was that your suitcase?
I didn't.
No.
Oh, it's okay. After that,
Oh, you crack it, and then could you just open it
Yeah.
and then kind of
That's like a sour technique.
put it in here, and then cut it.
Wait, you crack it like a leg? Oh, okay.
No, just open it, like take out the shell.
Oh.
Yeah. Feel it. And then you can crack it too. It's already cooked. Oh, it's not, it's cooked. It's like boiled egg.
It's already hard.
Yeah. But it's kind of hard because the yolk is the part I hate. The yolk really stinks.
Too close, yeah.
Think about what you're saying.
So pop it?
Yeah, open it.
Well,
Just
like, say,
feel it.
do the whole thing.
Yeah, feel the whole thing.
That's edible?
Huh?
That's edible.
You said?
Yeah.
Oh,
That's eggs and garlic.
he's gonna eat it.
I wouldn't eat it like that. I usually eat it with soy sauce. And I actually got a lot of soy sauce. I just couldn't find it. I thought, yeah, usually it tastes good with soy sauce. It's just like the bad egg, but
You said like the shelby dark, but like.
it's great. When you were doing that, let me pull out the. If you guys want, you guys can, I don't know who wants to bring it back to your roommate or
I just. Oh.
whoever tried that extra point. Okay, where's my slides?
Is it like normally that color, or is it just like whatever we did so hard for it? Like you said, it was kind of pickled. Is that why it turned out?
Yeah, it's a normal duck egg. So, but then they just, I forgot, I don't know how they like pickle it. So after they pickle it, it looks darker. And then whoever tried the yolk, get more points.
So it's like, it's not hard, it's actually soft, like.
The yolk sometimes it's soft, sometimes it's hard. Would you dare smell your finger now?
You said you want to get a whole class.
I mean, that's probably your diet already.
I think you need to feel the skin. Oh, yeah, oh, I smell it. Yeah, no, you have to feel the skin. Yeah. Ooh. Right. Where was it smell? It smelled it there. Okay, so you can. Yo,
That was fun. Yeah, this one.
who wants to smell it?
I do.
Okay.
Smell it from here.
Put it, yeah. Put it on there.
Is the yolk the same color?
Yolk is a little bit different.
That looks like clay or something.
Oh, we do it again.
Oh. That smells terrible.
Stinky egg.
It doesn't, like, it's like a good.
You want to take it back to your
Yeah,
room?
I'm taking it. I might have to take that.
Yeah, so that's one of the food that even me, when I grew up, I really hated. And usually, like if my father forced me to eat it, I'll only eat the white part. The yolk I hate, but now I love it. Now I love it. Yeah. So so that's today's special. So I forgot to share screen. So today we are going to talk about ethics, business. So ethics. Why do you guys think we want to learn ethics in the international business? Like I'm sure you guys like took ethics class. A lot of classes we talk about ethics, accounting, and different classes they talk about different ethics. But why in international business we also talk about ethics?
It establishes a relationship from person to person or business to business.
Well, that's true. But what would be what would we face some ethical issue when we do business in other countries?
Yes.
Like what kind of issue do you think? Can you imagine what kind of issue we might have?
Like something that may be like legal or something over here,
may not be like the same over there. So it's like,
Okay,
Production in like China might not be ethical, like here, but it's more ethical there.
in some way, yes. Yeah, also he said you need to finish this. We can, let's vote.
Yeah, we say
Let's
these-
vote.
Say something.
Yeah, it's democracy, so let's vote. Whoever say he should finish the egg, raise
Yeah,
your
it's
hand.
really good.
Is it bad?
It's really good.
Just eat it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Just like bite.
Yeah.
And it.
Oh, okay.
what?
That's good.
wow.
Oh,
You get bonus.
Yeah, you got bonus point.
what is it?
Stinky egg.
Ah.
Do you have water?
Thank you. No, I'm gonna go get some.
I-
I'll be right back.
No.
Let me see if I have, let me see if I have gum. Oh,
That would be perfect, actually.
anybody have gum?
I wish I did.
Oh. Thank you so much. Yeah.
I can't believe he's just like, he just ate it like that.
Oh,
Yummy.
yeah. I won't watch
Yeah, so this is unethical of me to make you eat that. But ethics is, a standard that people believe what's right, even though sometimes something is legal, maybe legal, but might not be ethical, okay? And business ethics are the accepted principles, right or wrong, that would kind of govern the business people's behavior. And ethical strategy is a strategy that the company use that they believe it will not violate those principles. So for the ethical issue that might happen in different countries, that, something that's very normal for us, but it might not, be the case in other countries, are the employment practices, how they treated their employees, human rights, environmental pollution, corruption, the moral reputation of the multinational companies. So let's talk about, I don't know if I should say human rights. So have you guys read or followed the news from the Olympics players recently? No? For the Olympics players in Beijing.
Was it the, is it about like the Russian committee or like the drugs that they might be smoking?
No, like how they were treated if they found positive COVID.
I heard about it, but I didn't.
Yeah.
Okay, so they like if a player found that, they were tested positive, they will be locked for 14 or 21 days in a small room where, they can play. And then I heard from news, some players cry, like they couldn't bear it. And then, so a lot of countries, they actually, protest, like they try to make them improve the conditions. And then, I heard the German players, they were complaining. So the commissioners of the German team, they, complained to the China government. So they were moved to bigger, nicer hotel rooms. And then they make sure in their room they have some gym equipment so that they can work out when they are quarantined. But I was wondering, like when I was listening to the news, what about, because Germany, we know is a relatively powerful country. What if there's a smaller country, would China still respect their players, will, or would they improve everyone's, condition? So that's one thing that we are not sure. And then the employment practices. So in different countries, we have different rules. Okay. Here, what I like about US is there's no like in theory there's no age discrimination. It's not allowed. There's no appearance discrimination. I remember when I went back to Taiwan after MBA, I was interviewing for a job. Okay, it's a big LED company, and the director, who would be my direct boss, he actually grew up in US, and he has PhD from US as well. But you know what he told me during my interview? So he said I didn't dress up nice enough for the job. Yeah, because that's I don't know if I should say it's my fault, but the night before the interview was my birthday. So my friend came over and we kind of celebrate. So, you know, we stay up really late. So I didn't put up my contact lens at that time. And so I wore glasses, but I still wear a suit and stuff. So he said I didn't really dress up. I didn't, you know, put up enough makeup and stuff like that. He said, you know, your position, you need to work with a lot of engineer, like, so, you know, and they don't have the obligation to help you to get information. So my job was supposed to analyze. I was majoring in finance, so I was supposed to analyze certain product, whether or not it's worth to get patent. So I need to get information from, you know, different department, whoever designed the product, to see, you know, what's the potential, like what's the potential revenues and stuff. So how much are we willing to pay to get the patent, and how much are we willing to spend in lawsuit if someone, you know, violates our patent. So that was supposed to be my job. So he asked me questions like that, like, and then he said, you know, you see, like, I was supposed to take over the one manager's position. So I saw the manager. The manager is really, really hot. Like she dressed up really nice and she's really pretty. So he said, you look at her, like, and look at you. So that's, yeah. So that's a thing I got from interview. So if it happens here, I will sue his ass, you know. But it's very normal in Taiwan, and in our standardized resume, you have to put on your picture, you have to put your weight, you have to put your height. And I even remember when I interviewed another company, at that time, my great grandma was still alive. So they asked everything about my family, like your grandparents, how old are they? And then are they healthy? Yes. And great grandma still alive. At that time, my great grandma was almost 90. So they asked all those kind of questions, which to me was very uncomfortable, because I'm already, like I told you, I'm already here for a while. So it's a culture shock, you know. So I'm not used to people asking those kind of questions, and they didn't ask anything about how I can do my job. They asked about the family. They especially for at that time, the unmarried woman, they wonder, they don't want to, or that goes back to another thing. So they don't want you to get married and then pregnant, and then, you know, you have to have the maternity leave and for that. But that's another thing. That's something that US, I don't think US have. Have you guys heard of any paid maternity leave?
Yeah,
Which company?
I don't know, but I know my aunt had it.
Who?
My aunt.
Really? For how long?
I think 2 weeks.
3 weeks, okay. So it's not actually required in US to have paid maternity leave, right? Yeah, but I know there are some companies that does that, but very few. In Canada, guess how long is their paid maternity leave? Guess.
3 months?
No, 3 months is Taiwan. Taiwan has 3 months paid maternity leave. Canada,
6.
no. Close, 18 months. 18 months paid maternity leave. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, I mean, how do their business survive? I don't know. I mean, I honestly don't know, but but that's something I think maybe we could also do better. But so there are different employment practices in all over the world. In different countries, they have different what is another thing? When your family have funerals, like when you have direct family pass away, how do you call that kind of leave? Bereavement? Say it again. Bereavement. So that's another thing I couldn't pronounce. Bereavement leave. So how long is the bereavement leave here? 5 to 7 days. So for us, for Taiwan, it depends on how close the relatives are. Like if it's, I don't know the English term, but level 1, direct family, like immediate family, like father and kids. That's what we call level 1. You've got up to 21 days. And the level 2 would be grandparents, grandkids, or brothers, sisters. So that's 10 days. And then level 3 will be aunts and other relatives. That would be, I think, 5 days. Because our funeral is more complicated. Like we're supposed to like stay overnight on the 7th night, the 14th night, 21st night, so that we believe every week the spirit will come back. So you have to stay overnight, whole night by the coffin, and so they will come back, and then they want to see you. So that's why we have those different leaves. But so that's one thing. So when our company, and then another thing is child labor. Child labor. What is the legal age to work here?
15.
15? I thought it's 14. It's 14. Yeah, it's 14.
I guess depends on the job.
Yeah. My daughter, like 2 years ago, when I took her to Halloween Spirit or Spirit of Halloween, she's tall. She's like 5'5" when she was 11. So she was like walking around, and then the manager came to me. Is that your daughter? I said, yes. How old is she? And I was like, and then she's like, oh, I'm just curious because I would like to hire her. And I said, what is the age? She said 14. I said, she's not 14. She said 13. Is she 13? I said, no, she's 11. So yeah. So she's like, okay, that's too long. I can't, we can't do that. Yeah, and when we walk to Walmart as well, they will give her a slip and say, we hire people when they are 14. And I say, how old do you think she is? And then they said, she's 14. No, she's 11. And she got so mad. And yeah, but she's tall. And she like to dress up like the Japanese, some of the anime characters. So she like to wear the I don't know how to say those shoes, and then the socks that it's puffy. Yeah. So those are the issues that we might have. And sometimes, like now what Russia is doing to Ukraine, okay? So sometimes if we have business, let's say if I have business in Russia and they are doing something that's violating the ethical standard, okay? What should we do? That's one question like we have to ask, like, should we just exit the country, or so what should we do? And then another thing is, if we go to a place where the work condition is inferior, okay, so in that country, their legal age to work is 10 years old. So if that's the case, Do we hire the 10 years old? Or what should we do? Should we follow their rules, or should we follow our rule, or should we find something in between? What do you guys think?
It depends on the type of job, what it is, like if it's something that isn't like too much, there's that maybe.
So,
I think both countries.
Hmm?
I think, both countries standards should apply.
so in theory, in ethics point of view, we should always follow the stricter ethics standard. Okay, but sometimes it could be very expensive. Like, let's say if your Canadian company comes to US, do you think they are going to give employee 18-month maternity leave, paid maternity leave? Probably not, right? So and it probably costs them a lot more here. I don't know how, so sometimes it's very difficult. That's why, we kind of talk about it, but I don't have answers for those questions I ask. So, but I just get you to think. I try to make you guys think, what if one day you face those kind of situations? What will you do? Okay. So it's just difficult. And so the basic human rights, freedom of association, freedom of speech, freedom of assembly, freedom of movement. So in some countries, some of the basic human rights, they are not respected. So what do we do? Should we stay in the country, or should we not stay in the country? Should we exit? So there are countries, there are, I used the wrong side here. So there are companies, they left different countries, okay? And like Google, I think did I mention it? Google exit China. Maybe 10, 11 years ago. And so, like, some places they have, like we say, they have child labor. And then some places actually have child brides. Okay. And then I'll just share with you even in US. Our sister connect to.
I was just a little girl wanting to have a boyfriend or something like that, and my mom turned it into something way different.
Versus put the handcuffs on him at 20 years of age. They actually put the handcuffs on me at 11.
When I got married, I had just turned 13. We stood in my living room and in this ugly dress that my mother bought off the internet. And shortly after getting married, she encouraged us to start having kids. And that's why I had my first son when I was 15. It was a way for me to, I think, be dependent. My ex was extremely abusive to me, and I was very confused because this is the only guy I had ever been with. So when he started, shoving me and all that stuff, while I was pregnant, like I thought, well, this is my life. It's like, how could this be? I felt like I was in slavery to it. I was a slave to my ex. I was a slave to this, idea that my mother wanted us to all be together and for me to have kids so young and to do all of that. I still have all of this emotional baggage of wanting to have done something with my life by now. It is really all the time that I think about what I could have done or could have done.
Well, we're here in Idaho talking about Angel Story because this state has one of the highest rates of child marriage in the country. Now, the rules are different for each state, but in 25 of them, there is no set minimum age below which a child can't get married, even in all of the other states.
Oops, sorry, I got to move this thing.
Where there is a minimum age set, it can be as low as 13 or 14 years old. While the US is just waking up to this problem, here's a list of countries who, in the last 3 years, have completely banned child marriage.
So when we set our foreign policy and we're going around the world, what we're saying is marriage before 18 is a human rights abuse, forces girls into adulthood before they're ready, and we need to end it. But at home, in the United States, in the year 2017, marriage before 18 is legal in all 50 states. Our clients, they come from every socioeconomic level. Really, the commonality that we see among our clients is that they're almost always girls, and that the perpetrators are almost always their parents.
Sherry Johnson is trying to convince politicians in her home state of Florida to change the laws and allow her to be forced to marry. Age of just 11.
I got married to my ex, the guy that raped me, actually my mother, saw fit for me to marry him to make the situation of me getting pregnant, I can say to make it look better overall. Yeah, marriage license, certified here, and he was 3 and I was 11. 16, I had 6 children. What do I do? No finances. I depend on this man that I'm married. The sign from the outside, the inside is fine. That actually was my life. So having children and trying to survive and live with them, it wasn't even about me anymore.
If Angel and Sherry are still feeling the impact of having their own childhood stolen from them, there is little to stop what happens to them. Child, much of America.
So that's also one of the issue in some countries. Some other countries, it could be 5 or 6. Yeah, in some countries, it's like 5 or 6. And so, so that's one of the issue. And let me see, let me go back here. Yeah, so when we are dealing with this kind of, when we are doing business in this kind of country, what should we do? Is there anything we can do, or should we just exit? You know, so that's some of the things that we want to think about. Like Google exit China, 10, 12 years ago because of the human rights issue. And I try to find the Google. So people are saying that if Google had stayed, maybe they can provide more non-censored information to people there, but now because they left, they don't want to cooperate with China in terms of the censorship. So they exit China. But now because they left, so all the internet information are actually censored. So people are less likely to get correct or the real information. So we are like thinking, what should I, should I just stay, or is it the right decision for them to leave? What do you guys think? I tried to find a video. I put it somewhere. What do you guys think? I'll talk about the theory next time because it's a little bit. But what do you guys think? What should Google, like when you face those kind of issues, should you stay? And then maybe because when you are there, you get to influence people there. So this is one thing that I want to share. So this one is the biggest public company by country in 2021. So you see here, Apple is the biggest in US, and then in China it's Tencent, the WeChat, the same company that they invented WeChat, and in Japan, Toyota, in Korea, Samsung, and in Taiwan is TSMC, the semiconductor company, and Australia is BHP, I don't know what it is. And in France, LVMH. Okay, so these are the map that shows how like, the biggest companies in the world, top 60. And then the most sustainable company by countries as well. The number one is actually in Norway. Okay. And then number two in Belgium. And then you guys see it. Three is Netherlands. And also Sweden. Four is Italy. Or Spanish also three. Yeah, so these are the some of the things that companies started to do, and so after human right, another issue we have is the most common thing we will face will be bribery, right? So I don't know if you guys heard of it. Like in US, definitely we have the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act. So we don't allow any companies, any US companies to bribe to any foreign officials. But if in particular country, the bribery is the norm, like it's how people do things. How do you think US companies can operate there? If your boss say, hey, I send you to Myanmar, you have to start a company there. If not, then you are fired. So what will you do?
I'm back with backup plan, I might just have to do that.
Yes, yeah, so you might have to do that, but you don't want to get caught.
Right.
So how should you do it?
Some offshore accounts or something.
Okay. That's actually what we do here, like we give donations and then it's, you keep track of that. So if we make it legal, but it's still some kind of bribe in some way, right? Yeah, so in different countries, actually, you can hire a consulting company. That's consulting fee. You pay them and they will take care of everything for you. Okay, so that's just one way to put it. And but it's really, really bad. Like yeah, the bribery in certain countries is really bad. And but sometimes, like we mentioned, if you are going to if you have two choices, go to two countries. One, they don't really they are okay, they don't really take bribes, but they don't make things work. Okay. And another country, the government official will take bribes, but they will get things going. So which one will you go?
Sorry, which the government official, what was the other one?
So first one is they don't really take bribe, but they don't actually get things done. They don't help you to do things. Okay, they don't want, let's say they don't want foreigners to come in. And then another one is they will help you only if you bribe. Okay. Or let's say if you want to vote for two politicians, one is he's honest, he's not corrupt, let's put it that way, but he's not very competent. He's not capable of doing things. Another one is very capable, but he's kind of corrupt. Which one will you guys vote? The competent one?
I just feel like everybody correct,
Just get,
capable, and doing something.
okay. Okay,
So
so
I'd rather get things done than. Okay.
it doesn't matter, right? So in some way, so that's something we have to deal with. See, I don't like to teach ethical class because eventually we ended up making an unethical decision in business sense. But we just need to be very careful. We gotta make those decisions. Okay. So how are the ethics relevant to moral application? So sometimes it's the social responsibility, feel like this is the right thing to do. Like when you watch the child bride videos, I think you guys feel kind of sad. Like we feel this is not right to marry a girl when she is, like 11, 12, or even 6. So we have the kind of a moral obligation, but we know it's not right. And so when we make decisions, we want to make sure our business won't be okay with those kind of behavior. So there are some limits, right? And then sometimes we have to decide whether or not, we should, like, since we are in different countries, should we use our power or our like, economic power, try to help improve the conditions in that country? Or, you know, it's not our business. Our business is to make profit. So that's something that, you know, we can think about. And, oh, I'm going to share with you one of the videos. And then that's it for today, okay? So this one, ethical dilemma.
Ethical dilemmas, we've all faced them, some more publicly or poorly than others, but no matter what you do or who you are going to face an ethical dilemma or two along the way. Odds are you may have actually crossed the ethical line, believe it or not. The topic made for a great column in this month's issue of Real Simple magazine. Author, contributor, and ethicist Jeffrey Seguin joins us this morning. Jeffrey also writes The Right Thing, a weekly ethics column for the New York Times news service syndicate. He's also associate professor at my favorite school in the city of Boston, and the whole country, for that matter, Emerson College, of course. Jeffrey, thanks for coming in. Before we get into the scenarios, what does it say about us when a dilemma comes up? What our thought process is about how we're going to handle it and what we eventually wind up doing?
But, you know, I think the most normal temptation is that it's not really a big deal because I can do something by gut instinct. You know, I know what I should do. My gut will tell me what to do. And the problem is that that's really clear when it's a stark, extreme situation. Sure. But when in most situations, there are subtle differences, and unless you think through what the implications of the actions are, you really, if you rely on your gut, could make a bad choice.
Well, we got some fun scenarios here that we want to lay out. So let's get right into that. In your article, you answer 10 everyday ethical questions, and you can answer those yourself on our website. We'll link it to Jeffrey's website as well if you want to have some fun with that. But let's start with the first one here. First, and I love this, if a charity sends me free address labels and I don't make a contribution, is it okay to use them?
What do you guys think? Yeah?
Given, so.
I said, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, not even trying to sound mean, but you're not obligated to do that either. It's really up to you if you want to go about it. I don't know.
I used it, it's already printed. If I don't use it, nobody else can use it. Yeah, so let's hear what the professional say.
You know, remarkably, this is a question with the weekly column I get a lot from people. They seem consumed by this, and I absolutely, if you're not asking for the labels and they're sent without request, there's absolutely nothing wrong with doing them. And better, you should use them and bring attention to the charity, sure, that it has a name on there, than to throw them out.
Expect the charity when you send them out is singing along.
Yeah, I think it's absolutely true. I mean, if you want to give something, that's great, but there's absolutely no obligation to do that.
All right, I can breathe easier now. I think a lot of us can. Number two, is it unfair to move into better or open seats at a sporting event or concert? We see that happen a lot.
What do you think? No?
I just feel like, while going to like sport events and concerts, I feel like you should wait a little bit before like in case somebody come late.
Yeah.
If you know it's a little bit toward the middle of the game, I might have to start making my way down.
What if another person also talking in the same seat?
Oh yeah, I might just let them have
Okay.
I see anyway.
Okay. I wouldn't dare, but I would like to. You know, I always see like, should we go? And I always like thinking whether or not I should go, and then eventually I wouldn't go, but it's all empty all the time. So I regret
A lot of time, folks will move down after the second inning, it was in those nice seats.
Yeah, and I used to do it as a kid all the time, if it's out of New York. I don't think there's anything wrong with doing it, as long as there's nothing in the ticket that prohibits you from doing it. And as long as you're prepared, if the usher approaches you and asks to see your ticket, you're prepared to move back. Now, one of the things that ends up happening when I say stuff like this is that the people who argue with me are the people who say, well, we paid a lot of money for these tickets, but they're also the ones that were the obnoxious fans who went down and remember our voices when they did it. But there's nothing wrong with doing it as long as you don't lie about it. You know, if you want to ask the usher if it's okay, that's great, but there's absolutely nothing wrong with doing it.
All right, here's one that a lot of people wrestle with. Is it okay to fantasize about someone else when I'm with my partner?
No.
Oh. Come on.
Sometimes it could be like inevitable, like you can't, like maybe like, but I just feel like it's not okay.
Just to think, no?
Fantasize is like a little bit more than thinking. I don't know. I don't like that.
I guess like thoughts are natural, but like fantasizing.
I don't know. It is.
It's nature.
Yeah.
I mean, no, I suppose to say it's not a role.
No?
So like,
You guys are
saying,
different.
like,
Usually in the class, guys will be like, yeah. And then girls like, no. You guys are like very different. Yeah. Okay. Let's see what he says.
Yeah, this actually, I had a guy, but this came about in a very strange way. I had a guy who was in his 60s write to me, and the way he worded his question to me was it okay to fantasize about fictional characters? And I kept thinking, what fictional characters could he possibly be? Exactly. And I actually talked to couples therapists about this, and fantasizing is actually a normal part of any relationship. But what they say is that if you need to fantasize every time to be intimate with your partner, there's a problem, and you owe it to the partner to talk to them about it. If it's an occasional thing, it's not necessary to do.
So,
And so it's okay.
So you're all right, but as long as you don't make it a habit.
Yes.
All right. Also, number 4, is it ever okay to sneak a peek at your child's email or text messages?
Then I will ask you guys for opinion. What do you think? No, but your parents, have your parents been looking at your texts or messages when you grew up? How do you hate it?
so like, it depends on the age.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's a lot of bad things that can like happen.
So what's the age do you think parents could look at their email or text
Under 18.
until
You can't do
18?
anything. I mean, your parents, so they can't do anything. They don't. It doesn't mean it's moral, but they can.
I wouldn't just do it out of like just to do it, but if I feel like something was like wrong or lying to me, I hate it for myself.
No?
I guess if you're having like a boring night.
I'm not sure how to.
Okay. 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 I don't know. My daughter wouldn't allow me to see her phone since she's N. And I don't know, like she has a lot of acronyms. I have no idea what she's talking about, even when I look. So.
I think child safety is always more, there's lots of values that we have. Child safety is always more important than the child's privacy, I think.
I agree.
But I also think that if you're going to do that, I think you have a responsibility to let your child know that in general, you're going to do that.
Well, when you get them online, or you get them on the phone or any device, you say, just so you know, I'm going to be looking at this.
Right, and I think as a parent, you need to know that children are really smart technologically, so they're going to have alternative sites and ways to block you from doing that. So I think you need to build trust with the child. When you start looking at their stuff without telling them, I think you betray that trust, and it takes an awful long time to rebuild it.
All right, we got 2 more. Gotta get through them real quick here. Number 5, is it okay to use a shop or restaurant bathroom if I'm not making a purchase there and I really have to go? We see that.
That's an easy yes.
Yeah.
Cause like, that's so rude, if you really like, you're like.
No, I went to New York.
Yeah, no, yeah,
This
no,
fast
I was not,
food,
I
yeah.
was looking at it, about it, I was like, I really gotta use the bathroom, like, oh, so you're gonna buy something, right? I was like,
I just think it's messed up with that.
I actually, we wanted to buy something at the McDonald's near the old World Trade Center where now they have I was going to buy something, but my daughter really need to go. So I said, can she go? And I'll go buy stuff because they have long line. And he said, no, he need to check the receipt. I was so mad, like, I was really mad because my daughter had, at the time, she had some medical condition, she had a reflux, so she had to go. Otherwise, it would go back to her kidney. So I was really mad. But but in New York, they don't
I say it all the time, restroom,
Yes.
it's for, the guests of this hotel and suite.
Yes, I'll tell you, yes, I think it is. I think unless you're trespassing into a private home, that would be wrong, but I think that, in graduate school, I used to go every bathroom in Boston and every hotel. The Ritz Hotel was the best bathroom I could go to. And no one ever gave me a hard time about doing it. If they asked me to leave, I would leave, but they never did. I think as long as you're not pretending to be someone you're not, and you abide by the rules that are there, it's perfectly fine to do that.
All right, last thing, this is a great one because it actually happens to someone on our staff. If I make an illegal play during a sporting event and the referee doesn't see it, and I act like it never happened, is that okay?
Like sometimes you gotta be clever in the sport.
That's what I heard. Like, you American, you are crazy about your sports, right? So, yeah. People will get mad if this guy, hey, sorry. I foul.
Or should you point out, hey, we just won the game on an overtime goal and I didn't really hit it properly and made it illegal, but gave us a win anyway. Should I go to the ref and say, hey, you know what, that doesn't count, wipe it off, we gotta keep
If
it.
you're asking me what the ethical thing to do is, the ethical thing is to be honest and point it out. And we've all heard stories of coaches that have done that, and actually lost the game as a result of doing that. They become heralded for being ethical,
Sure.
having integrity and doing that. So the right thing to do is to point it out, even if it means you're gonna lose, if you really want to be ethical.
I would say that rarely happens. But
Exactly.
there are some exceptions that you point out. By the way, you can check out Jeffrey's ethics column blog at jeffreyseglin.com.
Yeah, if you really, he say, if you want to be ethical about it, but who wants to be ethical about sports? That's the thing, yeah. So, any questions? So on Tuesday, we're going to cover the theoretical part of the ethical. Well, we haven't finished some of the stuff here, but we're going to talk about different theories and, stuff on Tuesday. So I'll let you guys go early today. Any other questions? If no, then let's have a great weekend. Yeah.
Hey, Dr. Wang, I just have a quick question. Can you hear me?
Try to, okay, yeah. So what's your question?
I was gonna add because I know you said about it before, but I just wanted to make sure, like, the assignments on Top Hat, are those like our only assignments that we have to do, or do we have exams as well?
No, not this semester.
Oh, not this semester? Okay.
This semester you just need to do Top Hat.
Okay. All right.
In the future, I might change it. Yeah.
And then you said like we just have to do it by the end of the semester too, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you. That's all I was wondering. Have a good one.
Bye.